Hi. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. How you doing?
She has eyelashes.
Once you're here, say hi. Once you're here, say hi. If you catch the replay, drop replay in the comments. Macy, not so loud, please. Hello, hello. All right, so it's Sunday. We're about to start the new week. I have a fun team thing that I'm doing today at noon, and then we are going to a hockey game tonight with the girls. So yeah, they really like going to, it's a college hockey game. We go several times a year, which is really great.
I like seeing the story.
Yeah, Elsie likes seeing the mascot. Good morning, Teresa. All right, so today we're talking concealers. So Limelife by Alcone has, I believe, 6, now 7 different concealer shades. Concealer 0, which is like your highlighter concealer. Concealer 1, which has your yellow tone, so it's like a color corrector. 2 I don't have. Concealer 3 I use probably the most. Then there's 4, 5. This is concealer 6, which you can use for contouring. And then now there's another one that just was released in the Danessa Merrick's collection. And I believe it's concealer 7. So it's a little bit richer and darker than this one. So today what I was going to show you is how I use my concealers. I use a couple of them before my foundation, and then I use one of them after my foundation typically. So hey Shannon. So concealer 3 is pretty similar to my foundation color. I'm currently in Olive 1, moving back into Gina Beige. And then I have some, scars from last year's horrible hormonal acne bout that I like to cover up. I've got my tired mom eyes. But overall, there's not a whole lot of correction that I really need to do. I could really exaggerate it, but our foundation is so pigmented, it already does so much by itself. I like to use my finger. The concealer is wax-based just like our foundation. So it warms up really nicely with the touch of your skin, with your body temperature. So it makes it go on a little smoother. These concealers are waterproof. So they're great to use as a foundation in the summer, which is huge, especially on really special occasions like weddings, parties, graduation parties, wherever you're going to be taking a lot of pictures. You're going to be hot and sweaty in the humid heat. But we're past summer here in Minnesota and moving right on into fall and winter. It is cold. Elsie's like, yeah. So I just like to kind of take my concealer 3 and kind of touch up a few different areas. And then I actually take concealer 1 and I use it for under my eyes. Because of my dark circles, I feel like the yellow really kind of offsets it. A little bit really does go a long ways, but I'm going to really kind of exaggerate it just for you guys today. And I know some of you are probably headed off to church or have some sort of family thing going on today. I feel like Sundays can be busy for people, or it's football. So maybe you're watching football somewhere, going to a football game. And again, I like to use my finger when I do this. I do have a really great concealer brush, which I will use occasionally as well. It kind of depends. If I'm having a current breakout, I'll use my brush, just so that my dirty hands aren't touching my face any more than necessary. So concealer 1, you can really see the yellow undertone in that compared to kind of my pink undertone skin. And then you can see how that concealer 3 almost matches my natural tone. I mean, it really covered up some of those red spots pretty nicely that I just want to give that little extra hidden factor to. Hey, Jaren. Hey, Elsie. Jaren says happy belated birthday.
Hi.
Say hi. Say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay. Now go finish coloring.
Bye-bye.
Do you want to say hi quick too?
Yeah. Hi. Hi, bye. Hi.
Hi, bye.
Hi. And say hi, bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so then what I do is I typically apply my foundation after this, and then I'm going to go back with my concealer 0 afterwards. And if I wanted to do any contouring, I could use concealer 6, but today I am going to use the new Danessa Merrick's highlighter palette that we have. So Olive 1 is the foundation I'm currently using, and I've talked before about ways you can apply this foundation. It's a wax-based foundation. It's highly pigmented compared to the foundations that you can get in the stores. It's about 50% pigmentation. And with it being wax-based, it's going to sit over your pores and not seep into your pores, okay? And that's huge. It's also paraben-free, which is also huge. The Blenderful is a sponge that Limelife has that is very versatile. You can see it has the flat bottom, it's curved, and then it has that nice pointy tip to get into little corners. Now you can get this wet, wring it out really well, and then use it in your foundation. About 1.5 turns will do half of your face, and that'll give you more of that sheer coverage. You can also use this dry, exactly how it comes out of your little mesh pouch. And again, 1.5 turns for half of your face is gonna give you more of that full coverage, okay? All depends on how you like to apply it. Today, I'm gonna show you how I can mix it with our due date to give you kind of that B&B texture, okay? So I have these little nifty spatulas. I got them off Amazon Dirt Treat, nothing fancy. I'm going to just scrape a little bit of my foundation out. Now, I don't need very much. A little bit's gonna go a long ways. I'm gonna place that kind of right here on my hand. I don't have like a makeup palette or anything like that that I use. I just use my own hands. And then this is our due date. This is a facial oil. It's an essential oil blend, which is really great for oily skin and dry skin. Now, I'm usually an oily person, and since I started using this stuff, I am not oily anymore. In the summer, I'll be a little more oily. In the winter, I'm a little more dry. But overall, I feel like my skin's really neutralized with this stuff. It's pretty amazing. So I'm going to take just a small little tiny little bit of this stuff. You don't need much. Let's see if I even got anything out. Can you see that little drop dripping down in there? Okay. I'm going to take my spatula and kind of blend it all together. Yeah. I know, Jared, she gave you a thanks. Sorry, I'm totally delayed at reading my comments here because I'm just so focused on what I'm doing. I know. She's getting so much better. Like, they cannot stop talking about when you might come visit. I'm just going to use my spatula now to kind of put some of this foundation that I just mixed up kind of all over my face. And then I'll show you what brush I use to blend it all together. Now, you could use a foundation brush if you wanted to. Hold on one second. Elsie, what do you think you're doing, honey?
I'm giving a picture to Dad.
But Daddy's on the lawnmower.
I'm going to give it to him.
But he's on the lawnmower. I think you should wait till he comes inside.
I'll tell him.
She's adamant here. Okay, so you could use a foundation brush, something similar to this. I typically do not use my foundation brush just because I like the buffer brush a lot better. But if you do use this foundation brush or a foundation that you already have, whether you use it straight up like this or you mix it with the due date, I recommend regardless that you somehow warm it up with your fingers. So if you want to go ahead and rub your hand on it to get it to body temperature a little bit, because it's wax, it really kind of smooths out and melts into a smoother texture, and then kind of place it all over your face and then use your foundation brush to blend it in. I like this buffer brush. There's a diffuser brush that's twice the size of this that is out of stock right now, but this is my favorite brush until I guarantee I'm going to love that diffuser brush when I finally do get it. But anyways, it's really stiff, nice fine bristles, and I'm just going to literally kind of buff all that foundation out into my face. Now, the point of the buffer brush is for after you use your foundation brush to buff out any lines or creases that you have that were caused by the brush itself. Kind of like you're painting, right? When you paint, you usually have some sort of lines with your paintbrush, and using a buffer brush like this on your face is going to help buff out some of those lines. But why use 2 brushes when I can just use 1? That's how I think of it. So by using the due date, it gives you a little more of a creamy texture to your foundation, and it gives you almost this glow, this little subtle glow, but it's not too overwhelming. You don't look oily, you don't look greasy. It's seriously phenomenal. Elsie is yelling at Macy, oh my gosh. So they whipped on their hats, their gloves, their boots, ran outside to give Dad this picture. And then they tried to come in through the front door, and it's locked, of course, because that's what I do when I'm not going in and out of my house. And all I can hear is Elsie going, "Maisie, let's go!" I wonder where she gets that from. Probably from me, because it's constant battle with that little turkey. All right, so look at that coverage. It's so fantastic. Then, if there's any areas that I want to go back over and add a little with my concealer, this is what I will do, is with my concealer 0 now, which is typically our highlighter, I am going to actually do that under my eyes here, and I'm going to use my finger again because I just feel like it blends it a little bit better. Just to add a little dimension. And then I also use it as a primer for my eyeshadows, so I'm actually going to go across my eyelid with this and up to my brow. And that just really helps set in my eyeshadows. Yes.
Can you help me?
With what? Your boots?
No, with my daddy.
No, girls, Elsie, what are you doing, honey?
We're outside.
No, Daddy's mowing the lawn. You guys stay inside with Mommy. Mommy's almost done. Well, then we can play hippos again.
The hippo?
Yeah, Elsie?
Mommy, I want to go outside.
All right, so eyelid primer. Okay. So,
Can you help me with my
I mostly
daddy?
just wanted to...
Will you help me with my daddy?
I mostly just wanted to share the concealers with you all today, just to give you a little insight as to how I use them. Again, there are about 7 different color concealers, so if you've been needing a concealer or you need a new foundation, then message me and I'll help pick out the perfect combination of things that you would benefit from the most. And then we can go from there. And then, like I said, this due date, everyone should have this in their winter must-have bag because it is fantastic. Due date for the win. All right, so I'm going to finish up my makeup. I'll post a finished look when I'm all done, but now you know a little bit more about Limelife by Alcone's concealers. I'll check in with you later. Bye!